back three of Georgie Gwynn, Finlay Doyle and Fergus Watson, who'll be able to try and find some space in the Samoa back division and trying to utilise their pace. Liam McConnell will lead the side from number 6, and Freddie Douglas is a player to keep an eye out for in the number 7 jersey.
14, Finlay Doyle, and at 15, Fergus Watson. On the bench, 16.
Well, Samoa, they've got two survivors of a heavy defeat against Scotland last year. One of them lines up in the back row. Benjamin Fahavahi is number 8 with the captain Rapini in there as well, with Falmono making up the rest of the back row. James Singh and Antonio Popoalihi will be the half-back pairing, where at full-back there's a player to keep an eye out for as well, with Newley Va'ahe in the full-back jersey. Will be hoping to try and field some bombs from the Scotland side and dispose of them pretty effectively. Players now slowly making their way onto the pitch, led on by their flag bearers, just ready to line up on the 15-metre line here at the High Stadium, a blustery High Stadium in the capital of Scotland, where the hosts Scotland will get their first outing in this competition against a side who they met last year in the 3rd and 4th place, the playoff in Nairobi, Kenya. 83 points to 10 that they won against Samoa. I think a few people will be betting against a similar scoreline here this afternoon. The teams are going to line up ahead of our pre-match rituals and the national anthems as well. There's going to be a moment's silence at the start for Fazizio Penny Titu, who's sadly passed away, a member of the Samoan under-20 squad which competed against Tonga on their way here, and sadly passed away in the last few days. Our thoughts go out to the family, friends and the Rugby Nation of Samoa for the sad passing of Fazizio and his family. Now for the national anthems. National anthems of both sides well respected, and the match official Katsuki Furus, just alongside his assistant referees, a hooker back in his day at high school until he took up the whistle. He's got an ambitious mindset of trying to officiate a Rugby World Cup, and this is a great platform to try and do that. And ahead of the game, the Scotland players will line up on the 10 metre line, and Samoa will go through Sivatau. Captain Tangalima Rapine leading the Sivatau for this young Samoan side, and both teams going to get ready for this game, and that's certainly one way to get you started there, Lee.
Yeah, it's a big moment for both sides, isn't it? To come out to sing your national anthem.
Sorry?
And then cultural dance, the Sivatau, something that the Samoans will take great focus from, but I think also as a Scotland side that are facing up against that, that'll really sharpen the focus as well as we start off this match.
It's going to be Samoa playing from right to left to get play underway, and the fullback Uliva Ahe
Time on.
is going to be the player to get proceedings started here at High Stadium. Samoa versus Scotland underway, and it's been gathered well by Ewan McVie, who gets the first carry for Scotland. Dispatched by McAlpine, trying to get a bit of width on the play early on, and it is into the wider channels, and a first opportunity to stretch the legs for one of the vice captains, Georgie Gwynn, for Scotland. Steady plays, McLean distributes the ball centre field. Scottish players have to get there quickly to deal with the danger. Now McLean linking up well with his inside centre, but the Samoan defence,
Use it!
renowned for its physicality, is up pretty quickly there. And the ball's not coming out quick enough. I would say that's defence 1-0 there for Samoa. Good intent.
Yeah, it was a composed start from Scotland. It looked like from the restart they had a plan. They had some shape with players looping around, and they went to width, they came back, and it looked as if Scotland were taking their medicine. They looked like they were setting up to kick, but strong defence from Samoa in the opening phases. Scotland weren't able to make any gain line, so we'll go to the first scrum.
Singh ready to roll the ball in. See, one of the trial laws as well will be demonstrated here as McAlpine just retreats back to the hindmost foot, and that front row of Scotland has just steamrolled over that Samoan pack. McAlpine then gets it through quickly to Finlay Doyle. Burst onto the scene in the Six Nations for Scotland. McAlpine a little bit wider now to find Ryan Burke, stretching the leg centre field, and then McAlpine spots a little gap and There's a little snipe, but again the Samoan defence getting back well.
His first man over the ball.
And they're able to suffocate the ball as well at the breakdown and win the penalty.
Yeah, it's sharp play from Scotland, isn't it? They were on the front foot from a big scrum, and Conor McAlpine spies a gap around the edge, but it's almost one of these cases where he got away from his support.
Samoa not able to find touch from the penalty. It does give Doyle a chance to stretch his legs again. It's something that we saw a lot on in one of the earlier games. The wind picking up here in Edinburgh, but Scotland now getting the ball through the hands, and Thompson, one of the players who was involved in that victory against Samoa in Kenya last year.
Hold ya.
Takes play forward. Scotland enjoying some early possession. It's a delicious pass as well, out of contact. Scotland over the halfway line now.
Stay
Opting to
now,
kick,
right.
but it ricochets
Play
off
on.
some Samoan legs.
Knock on.
And Samoa, just when I was about to say will enjoy their first spell with possession, have fumbled the ball forward. And it'll be another scrum, and the first scrum was interesting from Scotland. The Blythe Lafferty brothers and Robbie Deans lining up in the front row, as we see the knock on there from Samoa against Hanapali, Avito and Uelu as well in the front row for Samoa.
To the tunnel there.
It was a promising first scrum for Scotland.
Yeah, they've really set their stall out with that first scrum, and it looked powerful, didn't it?
Crouch!
If that continues, it's something
Bye.
that Scotland could really build their game on. Strong set piece.
Let's go.
Calpine rolls the ball in, and again that
Back,
scrum
back.
starts to motor
Balls out.
forward, but it's just
Balls out.
squirmed out under the feet of Tom Curry. McAlpine tries to gather, but looks a bit disillusioned as to the referee's decision. But the referee, Farouz, has signalled that there's been a knock-on in there.
Angry? Yeah, okay. Needs to be square. Let's go. Here's Mark.
There was almost so much to go forward in the scrum that Tom Curry at the back there was detached, and that allowed Fimaono just to get onto his man. Some scrappy opening exchanges, but what to be expected.
Crouch!
This first fixture for both these sides.
Sir! Appreciate it.
Signing to roll the ball in. Referee
Stable, please, and the break it on, please. Thank you.
just giving some instruction to the respective front rows. I mean, a couple of powerful efforts from the host side.
Crouch! Bind! Stand!
Samoa will be looking for this one to come out pretty quickly. And it's been
balls lifted, right.
bulldozed over again, but well picked up at the back by Fahavahi.
Not gone into blue.
Again, some errors creeping into both sides. It's been a tetchy start from Samoa and Scotland. Errors in both camps. But this will be a platform that Scotland will be hoping to try and launch from now, and especially that new law with the scrum half. It does give McAlpine an opportunity to get the ball away cleanly from the base of a scrum. You know, both scrum halves will benefit from that in this game.
Yeah, I think they'll be looking, Scotland on this occasion will be looking to, they're so powerful in the scrum there. I think they almost need to gain some control at the back there, whether it's Tom Curry or whether they can get the ball out quick enough that Conor McAlpine can almost get on the move and get that ball away from source.
A little more control there from Scotland. It yields a penalty as well. Again, centre field and well up there by
Head up under pressure.
Keramasi Douglas.
Captains offside.
Puts in a big hit in Finlay
First
Thompson.
scrum, head up under pressure. Hero or middle.
Captain Connaught just stopped in to have the penalty back in the original position. A little bit more control at that scrum from the host side.
Head up under pressure.
And still, it's a relatively tame scrum that they're up against in these opening exchanges.
It's a big hit from Keramasi Douglas there, and there's no shortage of physicality so far in the opening exchanges, which is really, it's what you'd expect from a Samoan team as well.
First line out, first attempt for Jerry Blythe Lafferty to throw in. He does find his target. It's been brought down well.
No,
And
three.
Scotland are looking to try and
Oh, sorry,
flex their
eight,
muscles up
eight.
front now and get that maul driving towards the line.
Moving forward.
The driver at the
Still
back
moving
is
forward.
Blythe Lafferty.
Use it. Take it
And
away.
it's one stop at the maul, so ball needs to be played now. Thompson burrows down, tries to puncture this Samoan defence. McAlpine then gives it to his captain McConnell. He throws a dummy, he tries to put the shoulder in to the Samoan defence. And now 5 metres shy, the Scotland players arrive round the corner, they get over the try line, and it's an opening score here for the Scottish team. And it's excellent work off the ball, which eventually yields a try. Some great build-up play there from the captain McConnell, and you can see coming around that corner Ryan Burke, and he's able just to power his way over the line and get an opening score for the Scottish side.
It started at the maul, didn't it? Jerry Blythe Lafferty controlling things at the back and good power from the Scottish pack, and it almost ended up in what looked like a training ground play, a team run from Scotland where they got round the corner, they made gain line, and then Ryan Burke eventually manages to burrow himself over.
Andrew McLean, the conversion attempt, he's going to have to act pretty quickly. I'll tell you why in a minute. Crane of the neck to see what the timing looks like. It's not accurate, and he had a little glance over his left shoulder, because when the try is scored now, another try a lot, as you get 60 seconds to take that kick. And unfortunately for him, the ball just bobbled off the tee. So they don't get the additional 2 points, but they'll be glad to start the game with a 5-point score to perhaps settle some nerves of this home support.
Yeah, exactly, Dale. I think it will definitely settle some nerves. Just after the opening exchanges, we've seen a few scrums so far, and Scotland will be glad to get themselves on the board.
Bit of inaccuracy from the restart from the Scottish side, but it's been settled now as Tom Curry carries forward.
Use it now.
Just going over the head of the lifter. And McAlpine looks to try and dispatch this downfield. Finds a good distance as well, up to halfway. It's just going to be marked at just over the 10 metre line.
Keep the space, please.
So it's a good exit from the Scottish side. 30 seconds as well to set up a line out. Good quick tempoed game, that's what these new trial laws are trying to achieve. Samoa throw back into the line out. It's not been dealt with well by the Samoans, so McConnell sweeps up, then Ollie Blythe Lafferty gets his first real carry in this game. Up towards the halfway line. McAlpine to McLean. McLean across, he's able to find Douglas. Trying to get some width in this game. It's Ventisai now, and then over to Fergus Watson. He's got a 2-on-1 situation. He looks to try and release his winger Gwyn, but the Samoan defence getting back pretty quickly as McLean then lobs the ball into the path of Ewan McVie. Advantage coming for the Scottish side, and in the acute line yet again from McLean, the fly half.
5 offside.
It does bring the penalty. I don't often see a 10 running that tight shoulder.
That's a great line, Andrew McLean, and it just shows you like the front foot ball that Scotland are generating when you've got your 10 running flat lines like that. He's obviously seeing the space in front of him, and because Scotland are on the front foot, the Samoan defence is retreating. They've got their backs turned, so there'll be spaces across the park that players with heads up will be able to try and pick off, like Andrew McLean did on that occasion.
Blythe Lafferty on the opposite side to his previous line out.
2 metres. Thank you. Let's go. Yeah. 2 metres. Thank you.
He finds the try scorer Burke, and then it's brought down, and then the momentum in this maul starts making its way towards that line. As they're going to get the ball down, they eventually do, and it's a try for the hooker Jerry Blythe Lafferty. And after a bit of a patchy start for both sides, Scotland have been able to find 2 quick fire tries, and it gives them a handsome 10-point advantage after 11 minutes.
Yeah, and that started in their own half for Scotland. They played to width really well with hands, and they put Geordie Gwyn down that left-hand side, and then, as I say, they were on the front foot. They earned the line out, and then they executed really well. It was Ryan Burke who took it at the top of the jump, and well-formed maul. You know, they were tight knit, and Jerry Blythe Lafferty manages to get on the end of it.
And McLean, able to learn from perhaps his previous effort with the shot clock against him, is able to split the kindling with that effort, and it was afforded to him after this brilliant, powerful effort from the Scottish forwards. We're just able to drive that Samoan pack over the line. Samoa played back underway. A delayed lift there for Ewan McVie, but he's able to deal with that ball. McLean pops it back inside. Good support and play yet again from this Scottish team. The captain yet again, Liam McConnell, in the number 6. Just taking the ball off of his fly half. Another penalty. And the Samoans, they started defensively pretty well in the opening 5 minutes, but they perhaps just conceded too many penalties. It's taken a little bit of the momentum out of their, out of their game.
Yeah, as the game's progressed, I think they've just, you can tell Scotland are stretching them a bit. The speed of ball's been really good from Conor McAlpine. He's getting that ball away. Andrew McLean shifting it on, and it just forces the Samoan team into infringing, and Hannah Pally there just playing the 9, which no longer allowed to do.
Off the top, McLean finds Thompson. He looks to try and puncture the Samoan defence yet again being dealt with well as McLean gets round. Ventisai then into the hands of Watson. And delayed pass is able to bring Doyle into play. He has to bounce off of his own wing, and again Scotland are back into the Samoan 22. The second rows link up with Burke feeding McVie. Momentum towards the line is Deans now.
No!
Dealt with well by the Samoan defence, and
Okay, advantage.
another opportunity for Scotland to try and make their way towards the line. Squirming under the cluster of limbs that were in front of him was Conor McAlpine, a wiry scrum half, just able to spot the little gap, and like all good number 9s do, has taken his opportunity in close quarters, and it's relentless now from this Scottish side. 17 points to 0, and it's a try for the scrum half.
Conor McAlpine's looked sharp so far, hasn't he? His service has been really good. We've seen him early on in the half with a break, and then he's sharp around the ruck. The Scottish boys are playing what's in front of them really well, and also moving the ball to width down this right hand side, with Finlay Doyle getting his hands on the ball. Lovely delayed pass by Fergus Watson, which got Scotland on the front foot, and then it was a really good carry by McVie, wasn't it? He powered through, and then as the boys get round the corner, Conor McAlpine is able to come back against the grain, against the folding defenders, gets himself over for a score.
And it's more a case of a bit of lazy defence there from the Samoans, just not able to plug that gap and keep on their toes. And there's going to be Samoa yet again to get play back underway. Similar restart, being watched all the way by McConnell. He leaps out of He leaps into the air and then drops the ball and then picks it up on his own, and he just hears it straight into Fahavahi, who does well to defend the Scottish captain, and then he's infringed as well, and holding on to Samoa with that bit of ferocious defence from the number 8, are able to weather the storm. This is the break here from McConnell.
Yeah, it's a big hit. Fahavahi, we've seen a couple from him so far, really puts his body in there. A smart play by McConnell though as well, just to release as he was on the deck. Tackler then needs to release, and he was able to get back up and make a break. He's been involved in a lot of what's been good for Scotland so far.
Vito
Get the numbers right, please.
waits to throw the ball at the line out. The referee gets numbers correct, and it's then launched in but pawed back by this Scottish side, who are looking to play with width because it's quickly into the hands of Thompson, who's got it off McLean, and then Ventisai is into acres of space. The fullback now, Fergus Watson, angles his run back in field. Scotland in the blink of an eye, they're up over the halfway line.
It's a taken in.
And McLean thinks he spots some space, puts it to the sky, and the ball does bobble just shy of that 22, but the referee had already called it. It was taken back into his own half. A little bit different there from Scotland, perhaps just playing the percentages against the Samoan side.
Yeah, and they have the ability to do that once they've got them on the front foot. They broke from deep. Andy McLean took the ball right to the line, which allowed some space for his outside backs, and then heads up rugby was able to place his kick on the next phase.
Throwing to the line out there from Avito wasn't straight, and one of the other trial laws, because it was contested by the opposition side, it means that it is a free kick, and it means that Scotland can opt to throw it back into the line. If Scotland hadn't lifted there, it would have been play on. Another one of these laws that's come in to try and promote fast flow in rugby. Scotland now throw and picked at the apex by Ryan Burke. Accuracy from hooker Blythe Lafferty early on. Ball through Thompson, then McLean, and he splinters through, and then a bounce off the right foot, and he's slaloming his way towards the line and scores for Scotland. And it's an excellent score from the host side. Accuracy from the line out, cute interlinking play, and then great individual brilliance from McLean.
Yeah, it's a well-deserved score, isn't it? He put his team in the position to execute, and then the backline play, pulling it back from 12 from Finlay Thompson, sharp hands, and then McLean was able to get himself through the gap. 2 steps off the right foot. He looked strong, didn't he? And he goes over. He's been impressive in the opening 18 minutes so far.
The lightest member of the Scottish back division that's starting, but he's certainly not looked like that with the angles of running that he's displayed so far. And he is the man to get a chance to take a stab at the posts and convert his own score. And it's successful, and it's a great start for Scotland.
Yeah, he looks like he's thriving playing flat to the line, which is something that all 10s want to do, and because his pack's putting the platform in there for him, he's able to play on the gain line. It's like I said, it's well set up. Finlay Thompson, great hands, a good sharp pass by Conor McAlpine, but Andrew McLean's able to spot the gap. There was other options there, but you know, he's fully to his rights in taking that, and he managed to finish it off.
Tanya Lima Oripine, the captain for Samoa, has just issued some instructions underneath the uprights to perhaps take a little bit of the sting out of this Scottish performance. And it's not going to start that way. A collision in the air.
Space, please. Give me space, please.
And give a chance for the assistant referee to have a bit of dialogue with the match official.
I've got a clear contact in the air. He's not in the rear position to get the ball. And then the player landing from his back, so I'm thinking Erica. Okay, thank you. Captain and 12, please.
You can see in the replay and in the clear dialogue that
I'll explain you.
the match official has determined this passage of play.
In a realistic position to contest the ball, and then player landed dangerously, so it's going to be a yellow card. No, not for me.
So Kerry Simasi Douglas is the player to get a yellow card
Taking the man in the air.
after taking the player in the air. Again, the pods are really well set, and you can see there he's been well protected coming down by his teammates. And Douglas is going to get 10 minutes in that rather uncomfortable chair.
Wait for the ball, yeah.
There's no perks of getting put in the sin bin for 10 minutes, is there?
No, I think that's probably a fair call. It's well said by the referees, who haven't got the benefit of the replay we've got. And at home, I think they made a fair call on that occasion.
McAlpine thinks he spots some space
Take
in
it
behind
back!
a little box kick and finds
it in!
a little
Hold!
patch of space.
Retreat.
And then when it's kicked back, it's been knocked on by McLean. It was a good kick downfield from Samoa.
Let's go. Okay, yeah.
A bit of good kicks from Samoa, able to just put a bit of pressure on. And that's probably the sort of things that they've been looking at in this opening quarter of this game. something perhaps to just turn the tide and give them a little bit of momentum, and perhaps that yellow card might galvanise this side.
Crouch!
Yeah, I think from a Samoa point of view, they'll just be looking to get their hands on some possession. They've done a lot of defending so far, and they've been stretched, but they want to try and put a few phases together.
Ball getting through the hands. Valmunga taking it forward for Samoa. Picked off the ground and burrowing forward again towards that 22-metre line. Hanipali.
No!
Lobs the ball from the breakdown, and Samoa now are going to get the benefit of the penalty kick through there from Popo Alaihi.
You're really good, but another player
But it
standing
has
on the
been
wrong side,
well
taking his place.
marshalled by Scotland, so it'll come back for the penalty.
Thank you.
And these are the sort of things as well. With that 10-minute sin bin, Samoa need to be camped down here for as long as possible to try and just drain all the time out of that yellow card. And they're going to get another minute here because they're going to go for a pop at the posts.
Yeah, that's right. They'll be trying to manage the clock. They've had a tough opening 20 minutes, and as I said, they've not had a lot of possession, but the longer they can hold the ball and get their yellow card back on, they'll be trying to do that. And like you say, a penalty will potentially get them on the board and eat into the clock as well.
It's Nulivaea with the penalty attempt, blobbing in front of the posts on the 22-metre line. Windy conditions, but he's certainly shown in these early stages he can put his boot through the ball. And he makes no mistakes there. Samoa off the board, 3 points. 14 players now, but they've got 3 points now. And that could be the 3 points that might galvanise this side and spark them back into life.
Sorry? Yeah. Just make sure all on side, please.
McLean to get play back underway. Right-footed kick. He's going a little bit further downfield.
Side.
And it's been well gathered by Popo Alihi. And then Watson is able to stop it going out. McLean then a bounce off of his right foot again. Great balance running from the fly half. Able to bounce off his scrum half McAlpine as well to stay upright, and then offloads to Deans. Powerful carry forward again from the Scottish forwards as Ventisai looks to try and find Blythe Lafferty into some space, but he's just fumbled the ball forward, so Samoa have a chance to get a bit of width on this ball if they're able to get it through the hands, but it has stopped in Avahas, and that's the second row for the Samoans.
Hold ya.
Scotland now having to defend.
Not now, not now. Thank you.
Singh passed away. Then back into his own 22. Nulivaea again kicking downfield, and he meets his opposite fullback Watson. He looks to just skip out of traffic, but well defended by the Samoan side.
No!
Then Burke, who got the opening score in this game, carries forward to try and set up the platform, and then another chance for Freddie Douglas to carry forward. McLean then finds Thompson. Ventisai in. Ventisai has been able to find Finlay Doyle, and he's been able to find just enough space to outstretch the Samoan defence. And arc is run underneath the uprights for a further score for Scotland, and it's now 31 points to 3 that they lead. And they had to attack from deep. They almost had to perhaps not go off their usual repertoire, their usual copybook, but they showed some innovation there, this Scottish side. They're able to release their winger up this stand side here at the Hive Stadium.
Yeah, well executed in the end. And Finlay Doyle goes over. He's had a few touches in this first half and he's looked sharp. Gets a well-earned score. It came from counter-attack for Scotland, didn't it? They had to, as you say, Dale, they had to do it from deep. And the Samoan defence, it was narrow. It was narrow, but Scotland didn't play there straight up. They went through the middle, and it was Freddie Douglas with the offload, which then Scotland managed to keep the ball alive. They were aware of the space on the edge, but they preserved it really well, and they managed to fix defenders and put away their winger in the end.
It's perhaps been difficult to try and see Samoans' passages of play because they've had so little of the ball, but Scotland certainly have a style and a type of rugby that they're looking to play in this game.
Yeah, I think that they're very keen to get width on the ball, but you know, they're doing it at the right time, and they're also fixing defenders while they do that to preserve that space on the edge, and that's something that's really impressed me so far from this Scotland team.
Samoa opting to change the angle of the kick this time as McConnell gets the ball through the hands, and again Scotland showing some great width, and McLean opts to put boot to ball this time. It's bouncing about back there, and it's now into the hands of the fly half before Leahy. He punts it into the sky. This is going to be an interesting bounce of the ball. He's been watched there by Fergus Watson, the Scotland fullback. He looks to kick, then pirouettes out of trouble, out of his own 22, and he's perhaps ran down a bit of a dark alley.
Use it, please.
But he's been supported there by his teammates. Jerry Blythe Lafferty.
Use it, please.
Carries for Scotland, and McAlpine then pops it downfield. Ulivaya gives it to Fahavahi.
More. It's a more now.
Kept up right there by this Scottish side, but eventually Samoa are able to get the ball down. Hanipali then filtered a flat pass just into the channels where Thomas Moores was lurking. Well defended by Scotland as Singh gives the ball to Uelu.
Balls up. Balls up.
The tight head forward has run into contact, and the referee has got a keen eye on this one.
Balls up.
And he
Just
signals
before
that
that,
it's been
more
well
forms.
defended by Scotland. Samoa enjoying a little bit of possession. And great ball into the wing to Thomas Moores, but just not able to evade the clutches of this Scottish defence. And Scotland showing some good glimpses both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it's probably that Scotland haven't had a huge opportunity to defend, but good work from Liam McConnell and Ollie Blythe. Lafferty in there just to hold the ball up and force them all, but almost seen Samoa threaten to break there with Thomas Moores on the edge, and you can tell there's some individual talent across the Samoa team, and there's flashes of it there.
Another scrum. It's somewhat settled now, and it's been driven back yet again.
Keep bound.
This Scottish side are getting a lot of joy against their opponents at that set piece. And Thompson acts as the pivot again. McLean on the wraparound, and then Watson in wider channels. Samoa, a man down in defence, are able to plug that gap, and Scotland are able to race their way into the Samoan 22. Past to Ryan Burke. McAlpine scoops the ball up at the base of that ruck, and the captain McConnell then charges forward, presents the ball back at great length to Thompson now. McLean rattled in midfield by Henny Vahivahi. McConnell pops the ball off the deck to a support in Deans.
No!
McAlpine again, quick to the breakdown, is able to find Curry. He's able to just offload it back inside. And the Blythe Laffertys are at the double. It's now the brother getting on in the score sheet. Ollie Blythe Lafferty with a try for Scotland. It was made some great work from the forwards, some cute touches from the backs as well, but it's a tight head prop who is on the end of it.
Yeah, some great touches from the pack. Ollie Blythe Lafferty almost letting that one from Conor McAlpine go over there to Tom Curry, who does a great bit of work, and then he gets back on the inside, as any good supporting tight head does.
Conversion attempt.
Yes.
It's more than just kissed the uprights, it's completely smooched them and just went in between though. It's went the right side of them for Scotland, and it takes them up to that 40-point mark. Andrew McLean adds the extras. I think Ollie Blythe Lafferty is still pondering as to why I thought he was lurking in that position, but he was in the right place at the right time for this Scottish side. So it will be Samoa to get play back underway. Right-footed kick from their fullback. makes its way towards the 22. And another exhibit of the new trial laws is that you can call a mark off of a restart, which McAlpine does, and then he opts to kick it downfield out for a line out. And again, another law that some people love, some people loathe, but it's been well demonstrated there by the Scottish scrum half.
Yeah, and they're into trial. It's to see if they can almost just get the games to flow a bit more, and on that occasion what it's going to do is encourage teams to kick shorter, to be competitive, so those kickoffs are more, there's more competition there. On that occasion, Conor McAlpine was allowed to set himself and kick the catch.
Play straight backwards.
Douglas back on the field of play. His first job was to truck it up for the Samoan side, but they've been turned over, and now the ball is into the wider channels as Watson looks to try and stretch his legs. He's been well defended. Scotland have to press the reset button and go through their passages of play that they're hoping to unlock the Samoan defence. Deans, a loose head prop, a little bit of footwork to keep the Samoan defence guessing. McLean to Thompson, Thompson to Ventisai, the delayed pass to Doyle, Doyle then straight through, and he's going to get a double. He had options on the outside as Captain McConnell was lurking on the wing, and it just put the defence in two minds. And he is a powerful specimen of a winger for the Scottish side, as displayed here.
Yeah, nice and square from the backs here. Johnny Ventisai takes a big hit for his troubles, but manages to offload that to Doyle. He manages to power through the challenge of a veto. Johnny Ventisai just squares really well before he releases. And Doyle goes in for his double.
Thank you.
A Loughborough University player, a mechanical engineer. He's been able to engineer a couple of really good tries for the Scottish side. And McLean, he's got the mechanisms to get it in between the posts yet again. And Scotland stretch their lead here, 47 points to 3. And you know, after the first 5-10 minutes, you would have probably thought anybody would be a bit wild to say it was going to be this scoreline after 34 minutes.
Yeah, and the game's been fairly loose. I've been impressed by how disciplined Scotland have been, because when the game gets loose like that, it's easy for guys to carry when it's maybe not on to carry, but they've played to space really well. They've made good decisions, they've squared the defenders, and that's allowed them to run in the scores that they have. And they've almost made it look quite easy in this first half.
Nulivaya kicks again into the 22. It's interesting to see how the teams are dealing with this new law, whether they're kicking long to try and concede the free kick and win the line out, or if they're perhaps looking to just put it on the cusp of that 22. It's been interesting so far this afternoon to see how the teams are dealing with it, but from it, Samoa get a line out 10 metres further in front from where they took the kick off.
Yeah, it's definitely something teams will be talking about, I'm sure, in their preparation. That, you know, there's a lot to discuss around these new laws, and I'm pretty sure they'll all have sat down and discussed what they're going to do there.
McConnell, the captains combined there, because Rapini had to get back to get round the collar of the Scottish captain, and now Ventisai again breaks free and charges over the Samoan defence. The offload is pretty loose,
It's not gone.
and it's been knocked on by Scotland. But again, Scotland finding a lot of joy at the set piece. The scrum, they're on top. Line out as well, they've been able to flat back quite a few. Samoa just not able to really tick in those areas.
Yeah, and I think
Okay,
just quite narrow in defence from a Samoa point of view, and because the set piece is so strong, that just draws in a defensive side, and then it means that there's space on those edges that the Scottish backs are exploiting pretty well at the moment. Ventisai going through there, I think he was unlucky with the knock on for the offload, but you could see what he was trying to do and thread that ball through. It's good enterprise.
Another strong scrum from the Scots, and they get the ball back, and then they fling it wide into the hands of Doyle. A little kick of the heels, and again a couple of powerful fends. He flings it back infield, and that brilliant link-up play from McAlpine to give it back to Johnny Ventisai, who goes in for a score. Hard working outside centre. Good power from the winger, but great touches there from Conor McAlpine. heavily impressed with him in this opening 35 minutes, and that is another exhibit as to why.
Yeah, Johnny Ventusai has been heavily involved, especially in the last 10-15 minutes, and another powerful surge on the edge by Doyle. He puts it back in, trusting that his support's going to be there, and there's 3 Scotland jerseys. Conor McAlpine with a great touch back inside, and Johnny Ventusai is able to finish it off.
Challenging one for McLean. Oh, and this one has just went on the wrong side. It's stroked the right hand upright,
Set in, white subs.
and it's just came back on the field of play. And there is going to be a substitution for Samoa. They go to the bench early. Mawaloma Pasa is coming on for Samoa, wearing the number. Aso Valley, is the player that's coming on wearing the number 22 jersey. Pasa is in number 23, yet to be seen in this game. Is it going to be a replacement for Volmunga? Is the player coming off for Samoa, and straight from the restart, Scotland are back on the offensive.
Right.
Ventusai at the end of it yet again. Great link-up play, and Scotland are flooding through.
Darn it.
But they're going to be on the end of it yet again, because Fergus Watson has been able to just retrieve the loose bobbling ball. Freddie Douglas was involved in the back row forward, but it is going to be a try for Fergus Watson, and this is a relentless display from Scotland. The Samoan defence looks so porous at times, and you can see here Scotland attacking from deep. Great link-up play.
Yeah, playing to the edge as quickly as possible, and this is where they've been really dangerous, just the interlinking play. And I think it was Popa Lee almost going for the interception, which then bounced back into Fergus Watson's hands. Scotland looking sharp, and it's tough on those edge defences for Samoa. They're narrow to begin with, and then it means it's tough for these guys. They have to make decisions on the edge, and with Scotland attacking as well as they are, it's very tough to make the right decision.
You've just seen the Scottish players all flooding through on the same trajectory as well, angling straight towards that Samoan line, and that loose hand as well. And perhaps fortunate it did fall into the hand of Watson, because it could have perhaps been another card for the Samoans. And they go shorter this time, looking to try and catch Scotland out, but McConnell has just picked up the ball and he's able to find Curry, his back row colleague, and in the blink of an eye Scotland get the ball, and they are straight on the offensive, and straight through goes Robbie Deans, and has he got the pace to get in the corner? He's joined the front row club, the try scorers here at the Hive, and Robbie Deans gets a try. The delight on his face, almost surprised perhaps from the front row, but he showed great pace. He showed some great touches on the ball, but it's another try, and it came straight from the kickoff.
Yeah, McConnell's been effective at kickoff. He breaks again from his own half, and then on to Tom Curry with a bit of footwork, and the ball's just so quick. It's so quick, and Robbie Deans offers himself up. He's seen his front row counterparts go in for scores, and he's delighted with that one. The ball shift just to get his fend out on that last defender was almost winger-esque, and it's Scotland racking up towards half-time.
Any prop would love hearing that. It's as if the additional one has fallen off the back of his shirt. But Robbie Deans in front row gets a score for Scotland. McLean able to add the extras as well. And Samoa are shell-shocked here in Edinburgh.
Good pace as well from Robbie Deans. You know, these guys are doing a shift in the scrum, the way they've been really dominant in that first half, but to get all three of them on the scoreboard is a feat as well.
Ulivaya play back underway yet again. It A bit like Groundhog Day for the Samoan fullback, kicking it into the same pod, and McLean then gets the ball at the back, and he's going to kick the ball off the field of play and bring half time towards us. And it's a handsome lead that Scotland have. They have been absolutely relentless and showing great intent and endeavour, trying to get back towards the main competition at under 20 level, a competition they were knocked out in 2019. And it shows you here at half time between Scotland and Samoa. It's Scotland 66, Samoa 3. And that's pretty much been in about half an hour, Lee, because the first kind of 10 minutes or so, well, 7 minutes, was really disjointed from both sides, but Scotland have went out to a really handsome lead.
Yeah, we probably had a bit of a scrappy opening. That was just due to both teams finding their feet, and some big hits going in from Samoa. It was disrupting things. We had a really strong scrum, first couple of scrums from Scotland, and then things settled down, and it's been one-way traffic, hasn't it, so far for Scotland. They've executed really well, though. I think they've been really disciplined in the way they've approached the game. It's been a tough first half for Samoa.
Yeah, it was a relentless first half for Scotland, and this is the pick of the action from the first 40 minutes here in Edinburgh, at the Hive Stadium, in the shadows of Scottish Gas Murrayfield. And it was Scotland who got off to an explosive start from a line out after some disjointed play, and the Connaught was able to puncture the defence, and then eventually the second row getting on to the end of it, Ryan Burke, and that was the first score of this afternoon's game.
Yeah, it was a good platform, wasn't it, from the driving maul, and then it was almost straight off the team run, and the boys were round the corner, and Ryan Burke manages to burrow himself over with good strength, and it was a similar good set piece for the second one.
Yeah, Blythe Lafferty getting the second try. A lot of joy for the front row forwards for the Scottish side this afternoon. And again, just showing a bit more direction and physicality than their opponents. McAlpine just able to benefit off some good work from his pack in front of him.
Yeah, Ryan Burke with a strong carry. He manages to snap the ball back really quickly. And Conor McAlpine's hot on his heels, ready to sweep that ball away, and just spots the gap on the short side there against the grain, with the Samoan defenders folding.
Scotland had a lot of joy at the set piece. The line out there, it's not contested, the Samoan side, and it was brought down. And then this was one that was a really good interlinking play. But the fly half, Andrew McLean, has had a really exceptional game for Scotland so far. Yeah,
he's a great game. Decision making's been really sharp, but he's also been fast on his feet, and he's thrived in the way that this first half's run. He's been able to play at the line and play fast. He's also played a lot of fullback in his time, and that you can see that in his game today.
Doyle got on his first try of this afternoon. There again, some good work getting to the fringes, where Scotland able to get the ball through the hands quickly. McLean again just picking the gaps, and Thompson, who's perhaps not been on the score sheet yet, but he has been at the centre of pretty much all the interlinking play that Scotland have had this afternoon.
Yeah, they're using him as a pivot there, with Conor McAlpine often hitting him as a first receiver. And he showed really good hands to play into those runners in behind. But Scotland using the edges really well, their ability to get the ball in, get their wingers touches, is something that's been really impressive.
The brother, Blythe Lafferty, it was Ollie this time to crash over. Again, some good powerful carrying from the back row forward, Curry. And the offload back in field to Blythe Lafferty. And then it was the backs to get back on the scoreline, and Thompson, as you mentioned before, linking up well with Ventusai, and Doyle just spotted the gap and was able to head it through for his second score.
Yeah, the depth from Thompson there, just as he comes round, takes that pass from McLean, just draws the defender onto him. He can then offload to Ventusai, who does his job, and Doyle, really strong finish as he goes past the veto there.
Ventusai at this point was able to stretch the width. Doyle perhaps thought he was going in for his hat-trick, but this has got a great touch there from McAlpine, just lobs it back in field to Ventusai, and he's been a hard-working centre partnership along with Thompson. He was able to get on the end of this and get a try.
Yeah, he's distributed well. Often his job was distribution, but towards the end of the half he kind of got onto the ball a bit himself. He got his score there, and then you can see him just quick hands to the edge there as we finished out the half. Freddie Douglas going on, and then almost shot to nothing for Samoa to try and save the day, but they were fortunate, and Fergus Watson was able to collect and go in for his score.
You can see Watson there just trying to pick his right lane to run in, and he did pick the right one. He was glancing left and right and picked the right hand side channel, and he was able to just grab the ghosting ball. But this was the final score of the first half. It was plucked out of the air by Captain McConnell, and great link-up play with his back row compadre in Curry. And then McAlpine again keeping the tempo up, and that flat pass to Deans was just able to spot the gap, and then the fly half for Samoa. Popo Alihi just not able to get back and make the cover and defend, the cover and tackle on Deans, and he completed a hat-trick for the front row. All got one try. Great to see.
And yeah, look, it's tempting for these defenders. I think it was Asso Valley on that occasion, when you're down numbers, you almost feel like you have to do something to fix the situation, and then you get defenders jumping out the line, and Scotland have done really well to be able to pick those gaps off.
Well, it's been a fruitful first half for Scotland here in their opening game of the World Rugby Under-20 Trophy in Group A. They've been able to sweep aside Samoa in the first half, and they hold a very, very handsome lead going into the second half. They currently lead Samoa 66 points to 3. Samoa make their way back out for the second half here at Hive Stadium in Edinburgh, Scotland. And they face an uphill battle, because they'll be having to try and bite off a big deficit that they currently face against this Scottish side. 66 points to 3 they currently trail the host nation. And there's, in the first half, an obvious difference in levels in various aspects of the game, but the one thing that you were very impressed with was how composed Scotland were with the ball in hand, and how they were able to stick to their patterns. Yeah,
it's apparent that they've came into the game with a plan, as you would expect, but they've executed really well. You know, I'm not sure they would have expected to go so far ahead on the scoreboard. Maybe they did, but they've been very composed in the way they've done so. They've been disciplined, they've stuck to their systems, they've held space really well and moved the ball to space really well, you know, and done what's required, which has allowed them to get over the line on numerous occasions.
Katsuki Virus, the Japanese referee, gets play back underway, and it's almost a case of deja vu, because Scotland are able to retrieve the ball off of their own restart. McAlpine, he feeds Curry at the start of the second half here at Hive Stadium, and it's going to be an early penalty to Scotland. Samoa not able to keep their balance at the breakdown. I'll give McLean a chance to stab it into the corner, and this was an area that early on in the first half Scotland again had a lot of joy at.
Yeah, and we've not seen many line-outs since the opening exchanges in terms of opportunities for driving maul, but the pressure's right back on this Samoa team with a good break from that restart.
Brought down by the Scottish side, and again looking to try and make its way towards that line. Blythe Lafferty has a little look to the right, and then the chasm in the Samoan defence just opens up in front of him, and he can dive over the line, and it's barely a minute on the clock here in the second half, and Scotland are already on the score sheet, and it's the hooker, Jerry Blythe Lafferty, who gets the score for Scotland.
It's a tough start for this Samoan team. Ryan Burke rises high again in the line out, and then, you know, the drills of the Scottish pack get that maul moving forward, and Jerry Blythe Lafferty with a good bit of footwork off the back of that maul that was required. There was 2 defenders on that short side, but he manages to just bide his time and skip inside to get himself over.
Challenging conversion attempt for McLean in front of a sprinkling of spectators in the adjacent stand to the commentary position. A right-footed kick, he's watching it all the way, but it's just drifted to the wrong side of the uprights. So 71 points to 3. Scotland just pick up from where they left off in the first half, and it's that man there, Jerry Blythe Lafferty, alongside his brother in the front row, to get the opening score of this second half. Ulivaya kicks it to the sky, and Samoa do well to flap it down into the path of Fahavahi. Picking up round the corners now. Samoa will be hoping to enjoy a little bit of time with the ball in hand, but there's a tackle there from Freddie Douglas, who just blistered out of the line. He's actually a player who had the most tackles in the most reached in under 26 nations with 77. So he's certainly not shy of contact, and certainly something you have to be up for against a Samoan side. But again, good defence. When the opportunity presents itself, Scotland are still able to, go to that side of their game.
Yeah, he was definitely eager to add to his tally there, Freddie Douglas, just getting off the line quickly. Samoa looking to settle in to try and get some phases to their game, but really good by Freddie Douglas to apply some pressure. Good tackle as well, which forces the knock on. It's back in Scottish hands.
Curry was having to keep a close eye on that ball as he was controlling it forward, as the Scottish scrum again made headway, and the offload back inside. He's not been able to be swept up there by Freddie Douglas. So Samoa now into some open spaces, great footwork, and now they're in behind the Samoan side. Asovale Into the hands now of Avito. His front row partner there, Hanipali, carries forward, but the Scottish defence again hold firm. And that is the most promising glimpse we've seen from this Samoan side. And it was the replacement, Asovali, who made the initial break. But Scotland were able to pick their pockets at the breakdown. And McLean can kick downfield, but again, not able to find touch, which has been quite common in this tournament on day one. Samoa kick downfield. It's been watched all the way by Jack Hawking, a player who has electric footwork and pace. And powers his way towards his own 10-metre line. McAlpine to McLean, across the face of traffic to Ollie Blythe Lafferty.
Not now.
Being challenged by the Samoan side. Ventisai to Thompson. Thompson flat to Watson. Watson now to Jack Hawking. He's almost going it alone and he's clattered there by Tavita, who's coming off of his wing. Deans towards the 10-metre line, protecting the ball, and McAlpine scoops it up and then gives it to McLean. It's opened up in front of him. He's got support either side. He opts to use Captain McConnell, and he's having to use some good footwork and then flings the ball into the path of Doyle. And Doyle starts making his way towards the line, and he's going to get his hat-trick score. And Scotland able just to keep that ball alive. It was a scruffy pass from the captain McConnell, but it was able to go into the path of Finlay Doyle, and he gets his hat-trick here at Hythe.
Yeah, it's ruthless from Scotland. Samoa had a break up in this half, and then Jack Hawking, fresh off the bench, shows his impetus down this left-hand side with a couple of breaks. Scotland recycle ball, and then Andy McLean ghosts through a gap, as he's done a few times in this first half. He manages to hit his captain, and then Doyle goes over for another one, showing good strength again to finish. It's relentless stuff from Scotland.
Okay, number 14 white. 14 white.
Referee just in conversation earlier on. Was a challenge from Tavita.
Make sure you need to be bind clearly when you go into the rack. Clear? Thank you. Try good.
And perhaps not the challenge I was thinking of, but
Okay, time back on, please.
the referee just signalling that there was perhaps an infringement there.
Thank you.
McAlpine now taking up kicking duties for Scotland. And he's scooped underneath that, and it's accurate. And an applause comes on from his teammates. And there's going to be a flurry of replacements for Scotland, with Hart coming on, along with Callum Norrie. There's also Gavin Parry in there. And Ben White is going to be the final replacement. So a fresh front row for this Scottish side. And Rooney Hart in the second row is going to replace Ewan McVie. McLean gathers from the restart. He just feeds one of his supporting players now. It's the first carry for Ben White, links up well. Able to bring Thompson into play, and he powers through a couple of challenges. Seruvakula is on for Samoa as well. Another replacement who's made his way onto the park. McLean just watches that ghost over his shoulder, takes his eye off the ball slightly. And he's driven into the ground for his worries. McAlpine into the path of one of the replacements, Callum Norrie, a player who started in that victory against Samoa in Nairobi. Thompson is able to find McConnell. McConnell is burst through and he finds Rudy Hart. Hart back inside, but it's been picked off there by Popo Alihi. And there's a kick downfield, a chasing effort. Doyle has to get back and try and sweep up the ball, but he's under immense pressure from the Samoan side, who'll look to go quickly through their fullback.
Thank you.
And linking up on the touchline there.
No.
And Douglas
Use the ball, please.
Takes play closer towards that Scottish 5-metre line. Composure required for Samoa to try and get their first try in this game.
Back, back.
We've seen 12 tries from this Scottish side. The advantage is coming.
Tackle, ready, go. Offside advantage.
Slowed down, play is able to go on. It's been stabbed through by Samoa, but in behind is
Number 18,
Ventisai, who's
offside.
able to sweep up the ball. They'll come back for the penalty.
Offside.
Be interesting to see what they do here. Not finding a lot of joy at the scrum.
Make sure you clear that, please.
They're going to tap and go, the Samoans. They're going to look to try and blast their way over the line. Falmono
Tackle now!
is a player that looks to go quickly. They win another penalty as well, the Samoans.
He's on the floor. You need to do this, please.
They've got another chance here. What this would do for their confidence ahead of the up and coming fixtures against the other sides in Pool A. And they barge over and they get the ball down.
Quite good.
Referee in a brilliant position to see that Avaha was just able to burrow his way under the Scottish limbs to get that try for Samoa. And after 50 minutes, Samoa will get that try. And it's been the most fruitful spell they've seen from them so far.
Yeah, a real momentum swing. It was Papa Ali in the own half. Scotland looked for all money. They were a 2-on-1 away from a score, but Papa Ali picked the pocket. He got his team up towards the other end. They took a penalty advantage and then they opted for the tap and go. A wise choice in hindsight. And Fa'ava manages to power over. That'll be a real confidence booster for this Samoan team.
Ulivaya with a conversion attempt. One penalty so far in this game. Right-footed connection, and again he scoops underneath this one. And then it's not going to go the distance, and it's not accurate. But Samoa do get that try. Which takes us 78 points to 8. But it was the most promising spell from the Samoan side that we've seen. And how do both sides approach the final half hour of this game after the last few minutes? Replacements made an impact for both sides.
Take him back!
Samoa up to go high into the sky, not a lot of distance in this, and it's been watched there by Fergus Watson. Just able to grab the ball, and the Samoan onslaught at the breakdown as well puts the Scots under pressure. Freddie Douglas just ducks into traffic. Watson then able to find Ryan Butt, flings it back inside to McLean. Again, some footwork from the fly half. One's in a little bit of trouble. Popo Alihi was one of the players who was able just to deal with that.
Got straight off his feet. Offside.
The referee will award the penalty to Scotland. Infringement from Scotland at the last breakdown.
You've got a number?
Does afford them a chance to kick the ball into the corner, perhaps.
12. 12 wide, never back. Yes, please. If the ball is clearly out.
Chance here to reply straight away for Scotland. They'll kick to the corner. And this new front row will get the chance to throw into the line-out. Gavin Parry is the player who'll be thrown in.
And Ben White, I would suspect, gets a job of driving this.
One
Back
receiver
of them
off,
all.
please. 1 minute off. Yeah.
Throw being good, which it is.
Finds a target. It's twisting and turning and craning, and it's been well defended by the Samoans. It's run to ground, but it then came back into the paws of Hart, and he arrows his way over the whitewash. And perhaps not the preferred option of scoring a try for the Scots, but they'll take that. They were able to settle the nerves at that breakdown.
No compete.
And then Hart found himself in some space to get that try.
Yeah, the line out / maul probably a wee bit more scrappy than they would have hoped, but off the bench, Rory Hart with a strong carry. Uses his full height to get himself across there. Takes a couple of Samoan defenders with him. And Scotland have looked promising in the start of the second half. They've had a few breaks, and then Samoa almost went against the grain to get a score of their own. But Scotland earned some possession, got themselves back down into the 22.
Number 8.
And get themselves over.
A couple of replacements now. Falupinga is on for Samoa. He's going to be replacing Benjamin Fahavahi. And then for Scotland, Kerr Yule and Hector Patterson will come on. So Conor McAlpine will depart. And Finlay Thompson will be the player to leave the field of play for the Scots. Yuli Vaea is able to get the ball high enough for his Samoan teammates to compete against, and they can flap it back on their own side. Not enjoyed long passages of play, of being able to carry forward like this.
Pack on away.
You can make good ground. Samoans looking to try and find that gap in defence. Kerry Yule is one of the players who are plugging that gap. Just able to just lift the Samoan attacker. And it's well marshalled by the Scottish defence. And it was Falupinga, the player who's just came onto the field of play. His first real action was to carry into some pugnacious defence from Kerr Yule.
Yeah, Kerr Yule making an immediate impact. Big defensive intervention, holding the player up. Samoa did well to win it back off the restart. Ovaha on the second occasion just getting it up to win it back for his team.
Bye.
It's turnover back to Scotland, to the scrum where Hector Patterson will feed, fresh from the bench.
One live wire of a scrum half, travels across the field and then is able to find McLean. McLean's got Watson, and Watson then is able to find Jack Hawking. He's launching into contact with the Samoan defence. Want to leave an imprint on these young Scots.
Use it, please. No.
Patterson looks to box kick it downfield, but has been well charged down, and Samoa are going to go in almost for their second score. It's flung back in field. Yuli Vaea was able to just launch the ball back in field and charge down the ball. The Samoans.
Number 8.
You see here, Yuli Vaea able to link up with Douglas and receive the ball back and almost go in for a try, but the referee just signalled that has just drifted off. But again, it just shows the danger and endeavour of the Samoan side not giving up.
Yeah, very well positioned by the referee on that occasion to call the forward pass in real time. Hector Patterson did really well to get back, make up for the charge down. Just a low trajectory on that ball meant that the charge down happened and Scotland scrambled back well. Yuli Vaea with the big hit on the far side that rocked the Scottish defence that were looking to break, coming in from fullback.
Patterson rolls into the scrum. It's perhaps a bit more of a level playing field than we've seen before, but it still does yield a penalty for the Scots, so the Samoans have to retreat back into closer towards their own half. It does present the opportunity for the Scottish side to relieve the pressure, and McLean makes no mistakes from this attempt downfield.
But now entering that period of the game, both sides making a few substitutions, which I think is just disrupting the rhythm a wee bit, as it tends to do. But guys will be keen to make an impression.
Burke receives the ball at the line out. Now Yule linking up. McLean is able to get the ball in the path of Douglas. He's starting to put on the afterburners and finds Hawking. And some support outside him, but not needed because the covering defence from Samoa was doing pretty well to cover that space. The carry forward now from Callum Norrie.
Point advantage, wide 17,
Hector
and then
Patterson
offside.
digging about at that ruck. Then able to find Johnny Morris. His first real carry in this game. Kerr Yule finds McConnell.
Play.
Working hard off the ball. The Scottish captain been very impressed with him
Push back.
this afternoon. Patterson stoops down, finds Morris. Morris then finds Ben White. Scotland attacking centre field. The numbers not getting there quick enough, but they're able to still get the ball back. Yule finds Ventisai. Ventisai's got options outside, and one of them's Doyle back inside to Watson. And it's a bit of ping pong, but he's able just to bounce his way over the line. Selfless play from Finlay Doyle. Is able to find the Scottish fullback, Fergus Watson. Is perhaps taking a sore one in the act of scoring, but he's got a brace in this game.
Yeah, they were numbers over Scotland, and there were so many options there on the inside, on the outside. Fergus Watson manages to bounce off a couple. The skip pass by Johnny Ventisai, and then the Scottish boys are queuing up. It's a tough defensive task for Samoa on the back foot, and they're 22, and I think the way that Scotland are just keeping the ball alive, you can see their back row players are managing to break a tackle, to offload, to turn shoulders, and because they can keep the ball alive, and it's quick ball on quick ball, and it's tough for that Samoan defence to reset, to get set, to get off the line. They're often running sideways, trying to fill huge spaces in the defence, and Scotland are doing really well to pick them off.
Japan were heavy victors over Hong Kong, China earlier on in the opening game of day one of the World Rugby Under-20 trophy, and Scotland are a team that are trying to chase down that tally. It's exhausting stuff for all of us, but bear a thought for the updaters on social media, tapping away ferociously to keep their respective nations updated on proceedings here in Edinburgh. As Scotland kick downfield, Popu Alihi does well to mark that inside of his own 22, and it's a difficult passage of the game for both sides. Scotland have to just keep going through their rhythm, but Samoa then have to start thinking about what positives they can get from this game and build towards the up-and-coming games against other nations.
Definitely, they've still got matches to come, and like you say, this game will have been really disappointing for them, and they know that. Even 60 minutes into the game at half-time, they would have known that. But like you say, they've got to try and take the positives that they can from this game. They managed to get their score back, they managed to turn the tide a little bit there, and they'll just be trying to build phases, build possession that they can then take positives into the next game.
Off the top for Scotland, and Morris carries, supported well there by Freddie Douglas. Ben White working hard round the corner, just plucks up the ball and charges towards the Samoan defence. Kerr Yulak's his first receiver, finds Jack Hawking, and then Watson is lurking on the wing. He angles his run back in field, and he's sizing up a hat-trick too. Finlay Doyle, he's already got his hat-trick in the bag, but Fergus Watson showing some great balanced running to get 3 tries in this game. Showed no effects from his previous clatter to his right hamstring, but he takes the score to 95 points to 8 for Scotland.
Kerry does well to square up. The defence is chasing hard towards that touchline. Fergus Watson just comes hard off the left foot. He's probably hoping there's a gap somewhere in there, and he just finds it. Almost 3 men in, he manages to inject a bit of pace and get himself through, and he goes over for his third of the day. He's had a good match.
A lot of players on both sides. There's some Samoan players that have played particularly well as well, but perhaps have been very impressed with the maturity of the approach to this game for this young Scottish side. They're having to work hard for their scores, but they're being clinical. Nili Vaea, the fullback for Samoa, has been one of the bright sparks for his side. And he's going to get play back underway.
No.
And Samoa
Offside, clearly offside.
They're almost able to get the ball back, but the referee
Wingers clearly offside.
signalled that the winger on this side, which was Tavita, was offside, just ahead of the kicker from the restart, so
Let's go.
gaining an unfair advantage. So it'll be a centre field scrum, and this is perhaps an attacking opportunity that Scotland are licking their lips at.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? Like, just the offside there. I don't think he was involved in actually winning the ball back, but Samoa had won their own restart back, but because the winger was offside, they pull it back, and this is a big attacking platform for a Scotland team that's got a real strength in the scrum, both sides to attack.
Keep it up. Use it. Play the ball, please.
It's solid from the Scots, it's steady, and it's been distributed to McLean. Yule then linking up with Ventisai, but the ball has just been left at their heels, having to scoop that back up as Doyle is able to gather his own ball. Patterson finds White. He finds a few white shirts in front of him, waiting his arrival towards that line of attack. And Hector Patterson then wants to take the initiative and kick downfield into some space and take Samoa back in towards the 22. And when the game's going, it's this tough with 18 minutes to go. It's not the most promising side to see as a scrum half kicking you back into your own corner.
Yeah, and the 50-22 as well from Hector Patterson. Smart play, but it was great execution on the kick. He was able to just get right over the top of it, get it down to ground quickly, and then it managed to run out. He identified the space. Great execution. Gives Scotland an opportunity with a line out into the Samoa 22.
Players coming in.
Avaha, the Samoan try scorer, wincing at that right shoulder of his.
Step down, step down. Stay wait.
Perhaps doesn't look fully repaired, but he's back in the line. Quick stretch should sort that out for the Samoan second row. Back into action quickly. It's then into the hands of Parry and then Kerr-Yule. Scotland
Release!
showed absolutely no goodwill to the Samoan side. Relentless in their approach. As they get towards that try line yet again.
No, touch first.
And they're over. And the referee quite clear in his communication to the Samoans.
I know, yeah.
That it was touchdown first.
But ball played away, straight away. So yeah, I'll have a look. Yeah, of course.
And it does look like that's the figure of Callum Norrie, who's the player to get the try there and get the ball down. And this is going to be a great angle to see what the referee saw. Ball down, driven back. Good finish from the front row forward.
Yeah, it was good momentum gained for the driving maul, and the Samoan defence was huddled around those pick and goes, and just as I was expecting the ball to be released to that back line, the defence was so tight from a Samoan point of view, but they knew where the threat was. They were just unable to stop it. Good power. Another Scottish front row.
The props look a little bit more athletic than they did in my day. Callum Norrie, a towering front row forward with strength to boot. He's got his name on the score sheet. Samoa again kick back towards the Scottish half. It's been plucked up here by Samoa. Good interlinking play, and they look to try and strike straight from the restart. It's bobbling about in front of that Scottish try line, and Watson is able just to sweep up.
Here's face the man over the ball. Leave it.
And Samoa win the penalty. And they go quickly. Tapped there by Maui Moa. Centre field now, Samoa want to try and reply straight away and get their second try of this game. There's a few players lining up outside and play being slowed down by the Scottish pack.
No.
Samoa want to go quickly.
Not for me. Thank
On
you.
the referee, Katsuki Farus is just bringing play back. Avaha is going to be the player yet again to
No, again.
take the quick penalty, but the defensive line coming up pretty sharp. There he goes again. He's going to try and do exactly what he done previously for the first Samoan try, and it's rinse and repeat for the second row. Tatoe Avaha with another try for the Samoans, which takes them to the 13-point mark, and again showing some ill effects of a tough game here in the capital of Scotland. And this was the lead up to the penalty. And it was a well executed try from the Samoans.
Yeah, you could see they were keen to take the tap, to get on with things, and it was tried and tested, wasn't it? Avaha had been over in a similar circumstance earlier on in the half, and he's really been leading his team in this second half. He's went over for both scores, but he's at the centre of everything. That's been good about Samoa in the second half. A good power with what looks like a sore shoulder as well to go over for his team.
Ulivaya with the conversion attempt as well. It's successful. It's certainly showing ill effects of a hard day at the office, but perhaps epitomising the attitude of this Samoan side, not giving up and still want to take their opportunities when they're afforded to them. Steady from the restart and able to gather the ball. They run into some Scottish traffic on the cusp of their own 22, not able to blast the door down, but the point of attack just affords itself elsewhere. Fomono is the most recent attacking player for Samoa.
Yes, Rigo.
Lining up to try and impregnate the Scottish defence, just not able to on this occasion, and it's been turned over back into the hands of the Scots, and Yule scoops it to Ventisai and then McLean. Arrow in his run towards the corner flag, but he's just been swept away by this Samoan defence. Patterson stoops over the ball, finds McConnell, and there was a big space in front of him. The plant of that right foot just through the Samoan defence, and the Scots go over for another try. And that is an expression of a very determined and focused captain, still speaking to Norrie about passages of play before that, not even acknowledging perhaps scoring a try, but this was a try that McConnell was involved with at the start.
Yeah, again, Johnny Ventisai unselfishly put the ball into space. It was carried on by Fergus Watson, and you mentioned it at half time, Dale, but Liam McConnell, for all that he's good in his industrious work, and you can see the amount of effort he puts in. He's got some lovely touches to his game as well, with whether it would be the offload or the footwork, and it was the footwork on that occasion. But as you say as well, he looks like a captain that's got a job to do, and he looks very determined. I think we've seen that from his team throughout this game, and he'll be determined to finish this game strongly regardless of the score.
Yeah, he does look like a player that leads from the front. Great attrition and bravery from the Scottish number 6, and he gets a try for his efforts. Again, Samoa able to just put pressure on that Scottish pod from the restart and get the ball back on their own side. It's Apelu just not able to protect the ball enough, and almost invited the Scots to pick their pocket.
It's not a move.
Scotland penalised. Samoa, instructions ringing around the Hive Stadium from their support staff and their teammates. Up to go quickly and running straight into traffic. Uelu. Seruvakola getting played back underway. Getting to scoop the ball away in the replacement scrum half into the wider channels, but Samoa have found it really difficult to try and really manipulate Scotland. They've got the ball, it's been very direct. They've found it really hard to try and get any joy round the outside on the fringes. Yeah, the Scottish defence has been resolute. I think Samoa getting a bit of joy, especially in the second half, just from the restart, and able to gain the restart back
Faupina it was on that occasion that got through and managed to tap the ball back for his team.
Not balls out yet.
I just think when it goes to set piece, obviously Samoa under pressure, so
Yeah,
when they do have possession they're having to opt for the quick tap, which when you're 5 metres out is not a bad ploy, but you know, outside the 22 there it's hard for them to generate the momentum when it's a tap from a static setup.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Patterson looked to
rolling your right shoulder.
roll the ball into the scrum. They've won the penalty. They didn't get the free kick. If they did get the free kick from that scrum, they wouldn't be able to opt for a scrum, another one of the trial laws. Promoting a quick, fast-flowing game for the spectator. It's perhaps aided and abetted the scoreline in a couple of these games on day one, both in Pool A. Scotland and Japan racking up over 100 points against their opposition. And we've still got time for some more here. Hawking is the player to kick downfield. And he's just kicked it shy of the halfway line.
Thank you. Numbers 4 men. Yep. No.
So Gavin Parry will throw in, and Burke to Patterson. Hawking then finds Morris up towards the halfway line. Norrie noticing that there's not many options with him. Tucks and goes, and then Yule finds Ventisai McLean. Playing a little bit wider now. Tries to link up with the outside backs as Patterson travels with the ball, then gives it to Hawking. Good interlinking play, and then McConnell is straight through the heart of the Samoan defence. A kick of the heels and a great offload to the supporting player Ryan Burke, who was there. Patterson travels, distributes to Yule, and Yule unselfishly gives it to Hawking in the corner. And the Scots are in for another score here. And again, one of the main heartbeats of this Scottish side was the man that went through here, Liam McConnell.
Yeah, we talked about his effort and his work rate, didn't we? But what about his line breaks? He's clocked up a few in this match, and there's another one, and then he manages to shape his defender, to get it out the back door to Ryan Burke, and then, as you said, Dale, unselfish work to get the ball to Jack Hawking on the edge to go over for the score. But it was the line from Liam McConnell, angled in, hitting the ball on that down line against a flat tired defence. He manages to go through again.
McLean swipes at it with that right leg, just not got the accuracy this time. So it's an unsuccessful conversion attempt, and our replay here again just shows that rangy running style from McConnell, and great interlinking play allowed Hawking, who can certainly scorch the grass. One of the easiest of tries that he'll perhaps score, just receiving the ball on the fringe, and extends the lead here for the Scots. Samoa again contesting at the restart. Tavita able to make a nuisance of himself.
Knock on advantage.
And put that there by the referee for a put into the scrum. But Tavita's found a great deal of success on the right channel from the restarts recently, being able to put a bit of pressure on the jumping pod.
Yeah, and just that almost 7 style of just batting it back so his team can gain possession. It's worked well for them in this second half. We've seen there Liam McConnell just right back into the thick of things, trying to hold up in defence. And he gets through a power of work.
Let's have a look here at this scrum.
No, too much weight coming through.
Free kick there. He can't take the scrum, so they go quickly through Rapine, the captain. And Tavita working hard off of his wing, looking to link up, but the knock-on affords the opportunity for Scotland to counter-attack, ripped out of their clutches. So it will be another scrum, perhaps taking a little bit of sting out of the game, which perhaps the pace that's been played at, I think both teams will perhaps welcome. I know I certainly do.
Leaning on when you go
Yeah, I think it's been a tough match for both sides. It's been played at real pace. As you mentioned, I think a few of these laws coming in just helped with the flow of the game. Yes, there's been a lot of scrums in this match, but I feel like they've been refereed pretty well. I mean, Scotland have been very dominant, so it's almost easier to referee on occasion, but I think referee Farouz has done a good job in this match of keeping things moving.
Yeah, I've been impressed with all the match officials that I've seen so far. Today on day one, again a development platform for our match officials.
You can't do the scrum. It's a free kick. You can't.
Kitsuki Farouz,
Let's go.
his voice you can hear
Short time.
echoing in the ears of the Scottish players. There's a player who's on that development platform. He's got NPC experience. He's officiated a really difficult match really well with no TMO, new laws coming in.
Frags up, gents.
And the ball has went out from some more scrappy play
That's way.
as we approach the end of this game. Still got a bit of time to play, but it's going to be a throw into the line out for Scotland, who again will just be looking to try and go through their strategy now and look to implement that in further games. It's going to be Parry on the 22. Throws into his captain, McConnell being brought down. It peels round the side. Kerr Yule is offering his services up, but Parry is just going to head it towards the line. Samoan players on his coattails, but just drags him across the ground to get a further score for the Scots. And it's 121 points to 15, and the smile etched on Parry's face. He perhaps watched the first half and seen his front row colleagues getting on the score sheet. Thought, I fancy a bit of that. And there's a score from the hooker.
Good pace coming round the corner as well from Parry. He just shows the ball enough to leave a wee bit of doubt in the defender's mind. And he goes in from what I'm sure he'll say is about 20 yards.
Plus that. Hawking with a conversion attempt. And he's got underneath it, and it's successful. Stretches the points advantage. You never know. It could be something that comes back to have a say in proceedings in the pool system. Pool A and Pool B in the World Rugby Under 20 Trophy. And Parry's try might be a big element of where Scotland will be playing in the final round of fixtures here at Hive. It's perhaps lining up that game against Japan will be all important. Scotland last year fell
White backwards.
the final hurdle against the Uruguayans, who were defeated by Spain, who made their way into the main championship.
Yeah. Max, yeah. No white ball.
Scotland will be hoping to benefit from home advantage. But we're approaching the final stages of this game. Scrum put in, and Samoa will be hoping to finish with a bit of a flourish.
Yeah, and Asso Valley again from the restart. It's been a familiar picture. Unfortunately, they've had to take a few restarts during this match, Samoa, but in the second half they've won a few back, which they can really take as a positive.
Scrum on the side of Masoe.
Shoes. Good.
Just
Come back on.
angles towards the ground, and the referee going to change his channel to get a better look on this side of the scrum where Ben White is, and also Alauni Fatu for the Samoans.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Falmono supporting the side of the match official, but Samoa do well to scoop that back. Siravakola is able to move quickly, but it's then been turned over back into the possession of the Scots as Patterson finds McConnell again. And now it's the chance for the Scots to finish this with a flourish. They're starting to make their way towards that space where Parry has just fumbled the ball forward. Match official Katsuki Furus blasts a whistle for the final time in this game, and it is an emphatic victory for the Scots to start their World Rugby Under-20 Trophy campaign. And you can see the scoreline there, 123 points to 15. They thought 83-10 last year was an impressive margin against the Samoans, but they've went a little bit better this year and dispatched their opponents pretty effectively. And it was a clinical display, if anything. The Samoans showed great heart and endeavour throughout, getting a couple of scores through their second row of aha. But the Scots really never took their foot off the throttle.
Yeah, you're right, that first half was almost blemish free from the Scots. They kept their foot on the throat. They managed to get over for a host of scores, and